Mike Lynn, Memorial League, Week 4, Power Rankings. Brought to you by Regeneron. Because who doesn't want to play Weekend at Bernie's with the Commander-in-Chief? All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to the Power Rankings. More traditional this week, hoping to go relatively quickly. Let's take a look at some results from last week. Stern Rake gets back in the win column and draws to 2-2 with a touchdown victory over former MVP Power, 50-43. Tuckfest went to the butcher, bought a very, very juicy salami, and smacked Stuntcock upside the head with it, 93-79. Tommy's Terminators says, "Who's your daddy?" in a 73-47 win over Homies. Juchi's Giant Jocks didn't stand much of a chance against Weapons of Matt's Distraction. Nice name, not? 84-53. Mulbathrill stays perfect, outlasting yesterday's corn, 62-60. And finally, Senior Ass gets back to 500, thumping Team Mangravy, 84-53. All right. Interesting week. League average 65 points. Here's the standings. We see most divisions wide open except the South, where it is looking like the number 2 finisher will be vying for a wild card spot. Power rankings, according to the site, still has Dave on top and me number 2. Largely agree with these, but some subtle differences, and we will cover them in detail now. Number 12, yesterday's corn, sitting at 1-3, third in the North, 208 points scored. I guess if I was going to look for positive signs, I would say Evan Engram has had a steady flow of targets. Otherwise, this team, pretty bleak. Start watching the draft prospects, assuming football's on. Number 11, Homies, sitting at 2-2, third in the West, 229 points scored. The Henry's value obviously is being hurt by the COVID situation with the Titans. Dumbasses went and practiced together and spread it around. I traded you Fuller. I think that gives your lineup some balance. You don't have to do the 2 tight end thing. Debo's back. You have 4 startable running backs, but 220. I mean, the results are what they are at this point. And Deshaun Watson's been somewhat underwhelming. Number 10, former MVP Power, sitting at 2-2. Third in the South, 225 points scored. Mahomes, for all his talents, has only been over 20 points once so far this season. Julio, bad, dead, past his prime. John Brown, hurt. Kenyon Drake is not as good as Chase Edwards. You don't have a tight end. I mean, Greg Olsen, but he might need some Regeneron. On the positive front, Robbie Anderson, Ronald Jones trending in the right direction. Number 9, Stern Rake, sitting at 2-2, first in the North, 243 points scored. Rodgers is back to being late. Justin Jefferson looks like already one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Your tight ends have been bad. Gesicki and Irv Smith just not getting it done. Stinky running back situation aside from Christian McCaffrey is what's holding this team back. Number 8, Tommy's Terminators, also 2-2, third in the East, 251 points scored. Good handcuffing when drafting Kelly to back up Eckler. Lamb is looking like a very good pick and someone that you might keep going into next year. Lamar's injury concerns, not practicing, supposed to play. Without Lamar, your lineup. And Connor back on track. I trashed him in week 1. He's good now. Number 7, Juchi's Giant Jocks, sitting at 1-3, second in the North, 299 points scored. You just gotten killed in points against. I mean, I think your opponent has either had the salami or second most points almost every week. Josh Jacobs, still steady dose of carries, not getting over 100 yards, not getting in the end zone since week 1. Diggs, actually an elite wide receiver still. Quarterback situation, Wentz, Newton, Big Ben, not a fan. And Newton, I do like, but the COVID thing. And then the big question I have for your team is, can you win another 2 games once Thomas is back, it's a pretty good team. Number 6, Team Mangravy, sitting at 2-2, second in the East. The Melvin Gordon thing last week, that second touchdown was a total fluke. So we went from having a pretty pedestrian game, 50 yards and a touchdown, to, now he's over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on just a fluke play. Apart from Melvin Gordon, you don't have another running back who you could put in your lineup. I mean, you do, but they're all terrible. Your wide receivers, on the other hand, are very good. But what happened to Calvin Ridley last week? And then just a reminder, Tyler Higbee scores a lot of touchdowns, very dependent on that. If he doesn't score those touchdowns, his value is not there. And then he committed a hate crime before he was drafted. I just want everybody to remember that. So if you have ethics in fantasy football, maybe you shouldn't play him. Number 5, Weapons of Matt's Distraction. Nice name. Not 2-2, second in the South, 277 points scored. Mixon, huge game. Where'd that come from? I mean, we know he's good, but he finally was good. Actually good on the field. Thielen, Mr. Dependable. You got 2 rookies on your team who are better than all the rookies on my team, that's for sure. Ayuk and Judy, maybe they're in your second 2 next year. And then finally, I think Joe Burrow is better than Drew Brees. He's just better than him at this point. Fantasy, reality, whatever. So maybe I'd start him. Number 4, Talkfest, 2-2, first in the West, 307 points scored. Moved you way up. Dak just keep putting up monstrous numbers. One of the 3 best quarterbacks in fantasy so far. Le'Veon Bell's coming back, although I still think he sucks. Odell Beckham is good again. And then I kind of regret trading you Andrews at such a low price. I made 2 trades with you that kind of stunk. Not that Julio's done anything since, but you got more value for him than I did. And anyway, crappy running back depth and injury concerns on your bench, like Fant is out, and there's someone else who's hurt who I can't remember off the top of my head. Number 3, Senior Ass, 2-2, second in the West, 285 points scored. Looks like Tom Brady maybe still has it, but he keeps throwing pick sixes. The only thing that makes me wonder about him. The Evans thing, he keeps scoring touchdowns, but then he's hurt, and then he's not, and then he plays, and that would be annoying. It's just annoying. He scores touchdowns, though. Montgomery stinks. Just stinks. McLaurin, elite. I should have drafted him instead of A.J. Brown. I even thought about doing it. However, is the QB change good for him, or does it hurt? Kyle Allen sucks just as bad as the kid that they benched, and maybe he doesn't like throwing to McLaurin as much. So we'll see. Kittle, still a monster, and thus you're number 3. Mostly a good team. Number 2, Stunt Cock, 3-1, first knees, 329 points scored. I consider moving myself down, but at the end of the day, I still have a high opinion of my own team. Dalvin's awesome. Russ came back to earth a little bit, and I lost, but I did go up against the Salami. I still scored a lot of points. Hill, he's scoring a lot of touchdowns every week, but he's not getting over 100 yards. He's not having those huge monster 100-plus yard games. That kind of concerns me. Waller's not really getting the end zone. And then Miles Sanders just in a crappy offense. And that whole Eagles team is a mess. And Sanders is a good player, but if they don't figure it out, Gibson might surpass him on my team. So let me cue the music and get into some predictions. And this is where not having prepared my playlist in advance is hurting me. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Number 1. I almost jumped the gun. Mlml, 4-0, first in the South, 361 points. Who could forget a juggernaut like this, Dave? Oh, you're so good at fantasy football, Dave. Everybody just should bow down to how good your team is, Dave. Oh, my gosh, you drafted such awesome players. Anyway, you did, actually. Chubb is out, but Hunt might be better, and you have him. Damian Harris might be the new RB1 in New England, although that's not a situation you can count on. The Titans situation is hurting you, though, because if you can't start John, you have to play Cole Kmet, and he isn't relevant. Your wide receiver depth is a little iffy. But Josh Allen, actually good. Not just fantasy good, actually good. I've said that before, but I'll say it again. Okay, now predictions for real. Stunt cock hits a losing skid. Suffering a loss against Senior Ass, 66-62. Thrill stays undefeated and coasts to victory over Stern Rake, 71-55. Homies, 57. Team Mangravy, 53. Weapons of Matt's Distraction, nice name, not. Doesn't have to sweat it out against yesterday's corn, 78-44. Juchi's Giant Jocks, 62. Former MVP Power, 60. And finally, Tuckfest goes above 500 with a win, 70-58 over Tommy's Terminators. All right, that's all I got. I think I screwed up someone's record on the rankings or whatever, but I'm not going to fix it. All right, good luck to everyone except Rob. Rob, I hope your team sucks this week. Bye.